Mark was stuck. His days were filled with video games, junk food, and endless hours scrolling through social media. He had dreams, of course, but they felt distant and impossible. He would imagine himself as a successful artist, his paintings displayed in galleries, but the canvas in his room remained blank, a silent accusation of his inaction. Mark's apartment reflected his inner state. Dirty dishes piled up in the sink, a testament to his aversion to even the simplest chores. Clothes lay scattered on the floor, forming a haphazard obstacle course. He knew he couldn't go on like this, but the thought of actually doing something about it felt overwhelming. Mark's friends were starting to pull away. They were all moving forward with their lives, pursuing careers, relationships, and personal growth. Mark, on the other hand, felt like he was stuck in a time warp. He saw their accomplishments on social media, their smiling faces filled with a vibrancy that seemed to elude him. He knew he couldn't blame them for his own inaction. The gap between them widened with each passing day, a chasm carved out by his own inertia. One day, Mark received a message that would change everything. It was from James, a friend from high school he hadn't seen in years. James had been the quiet, unassuming type back then, but now he was a successful entrepreneur. They decided to meet for coffee, and Mark couldn't help but feel a mix of curiosity and trepidation. As they sat down, Mark couldn't help but feel a pang of envy seeing James's easy confidence. They reminisced about old times, their laughter filling the air like a familiar melody. But as they talked, Mark found himself drawn to James's story, his journey from shy student to accomplished businessman. And as Mark listened, he felt a stirring within him, a flicker of hope that had long been dormant. As they talked, Mark gathered the courage to confide in James about his struggles. He spoke of his lack of motivation, his fear of failure, his sense of being lost and directionless. James listened patiently, his gaze steady and non-judgmental. When Mark was finished, James leaned forward, a thoughtful expression on his face. "Motivation isn't something you wait for, it's something you create," James said. Mark frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" he asked. "It's easy to get caught in the trap of waiting for the perfect moment," James explained. "But the truth is, motivation often follows action, not the other way around. Just start with one small thing," James advised, his eyes filled with encouragement. "Don't overthink it, just do it, and then do it again tomorrow." James's words resonated with Mark, but putting them into practice proved to be harder than he imagined. Old habits die hard, and the allure of inertia was strong. The first few days were a battle. His brain, accustomed to the ease of procrastination, resisted his attempts at change. He almost gave in to the familiar comfort of his couch and video game console, but then he remembered James's words. Motivation follows action. So he took a deep breath and forced himself to take a single step. He decided to start with the easiest task, washing the dishes. It took all his willpower to drag himself off the couch, but he did it. And as he stood there, warm water cascading over his hands, he felt a small spark of accomplishment. The next day, he forced himself to spend just 30 minutes working on a painting. Mark continued this way, taking small, consistent actions each day. He made a list of small, achievable goals and stuck to it religiously. He started exercising for just 15 minutes each morning, even if it was just a brisk walk around the block. He cleaned his apartment one room at a time, the act of tidying his physical space seeming to clear his mind as well. He made a conscious effort to limit his time on social media, using that time instead to pursue his passion for art. He enrolled in an online art course, eager to learn new techniques and connect with other artists. The results were gradual but undeniable. He started to feel a sense of accomplishment he hadn't experienced in years. His energy levels soared and his mood lifted. He found himself looking forward to each day with a sense of purpose and excitement. As Mark's confidence grew, so too did his ambition. He started sharing his artwork online, posting his paintings on social media, and joining online art communities. He was hesitant at first, afraid of judgment and rejection, but to his surprise, the response was overwhelmingly positive. People were drawn to his unique style and the raw emotion that poured from his canvases. He received encouraging comments, messages of support, and even a few offers to purchase his work. The positive feedback fueled his motivation, pushing him to further refine his craft and explore new creative avenues. His apartment, once a reflection of his inner turmoil, was transformed into a vibrant studio. One day, Mark received an email that made his heart skip a beat. It was from a prestigious art gallery, inviting him to showcase his work in a group exhibition. He reread the email several times, hardly daring to believe his eyes. This was it, the opportunity he had been dreaming of. He accepted the offer without hesitation, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The exhibition was a resounding success. Art enthusiasts and critics alike praised Mark's work, captivated by his unique style and the raw emotion that emanated from his canvases. The greatest reward came a few weeks later when he received a job offer from a graphic design firm. As Mark settled into his new life, he couldn't help but reflect on how far he had come. He was no longer the unmotivated, directionless young man who had once felt so lost and alone. He had discovered the power of action, the transformative magic that unfolds when we stop waiting for motivation to strike and instead choose to take that first, crucial step. He realized that motivation wasn't some elusive external force, but an internal fire that was ignited by action. Mark's journey was a testament to the power of small, consistent actions. And as he looked towards the future, he did so with a heart full of gratitude and a spirit ignited by the knowledge that motivation follows action.